That's all good.
No, it's not good if I'm lost.
No, we don't want to be
I was
lost.
getting
So,
frustrated.
Caliston, thank you for flying in specially for the show. That's really, really very humbling of you. Thank you very much for your time and sharing your story with us. That's what we do on our show. We kind of talk about it, what we've been up to, and yeah. So, did you start in New York? Were you born in New York, or you? Because I know you lived in LA for a long time, and I met you in Phoenix, Arizona, 2016.
That was 2016?
2016.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
Mad place,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for the welcome. I appreciate your friendship all this time. It's a miracle, and it's a good, wonderful feeling to be able to have a commonality. Yeah, own wayishness, singleness. Might think I'm grown. Go to an all-boys school, learn a trade. I pick aviation.
That's cool.
Airframe power plant.
Yeah.
But one of the stipulations was you had to get a driver's license. So those bread trucks, the step vans they have.
That's it.
The sliding door.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we would use for the training for us to go. And a lot of us worked at the same place in Rockefeller Plaza.
Okay.
Vintage Auto Pub Restaurant.
Huh.
Never forget it.
Jeez.
And there's a couple, 2, 3 of us that work at this place and went to the same school, and we would take turns bringing in the booze. Because after we clean up at night, we take the hinges off the door and take the bottles and take turns and bring, we get a drink.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What, like take bottles home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. So
that-
you always
that's
had
a-
little hustles on the
Little
go.
hustles like that,
Yeah.
little rebellion stuff. And going to high school, and then I had a little falling out with my English teacher. I said some things to her that were inappropriate. I ended up doing summer school, basically. So 79, I graduated. And that school is a lot of, this is New York now, so you're getting a lot of diverse personalities, put it that way. St. Lucia, Martinique, Brazil,
New York's like London's melting pot.
A lot of guys.
Yeah.
All go to the military.
Wow. Okay.
So I ended up going to the Marine Corps. That's what I did. Because after that, getting out of school, it was like a lot of money today, one day in the pocket, and some days a little bit of money.
And always the risk of getting caught.
Yeah, you think about that.
No.
We didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
I didn't think about getting caught about anything until I got older and started driving and hustling and hauling around drug dealers and shit. I didn't think about that till later.
Is that how you progressed to being a driver?
Man, ooh. Yeah. It got to the point where I just wanted to, I guess I didn't want to be in this world or that world. I don't know, really. I just liked the excitement of it.
Yeah.
The
money.
The money was decent.
Women.
The women were
around.
Charming, like flies.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. And that stayed with me even though I was in the military.
Oh, okay. So
so like in the 20s, I joined the Marine Corps in 1980. So after getting out in 79, I went to the Marine Corps because I could not stay how I was staying. And so I just, one day, I wanted to go in the Air Force so bad.
Yeah.
They look so good. I wanted to go in the Air Force. And then when I got the nerve to go do it, only the Marine Corps office was open. And once you go up in there as a young, timid lad, you go up in there.
You don't want to.
You ain't leaving. They got the hook in you, and they start spewing you, and they look amazing.
Yeah.
It just, oh man. And to this day, man, I'm really, there's a couple institutions that I'm part of, and I'm really proud and honored to be part of these institutions.
I find Americans are so proud about their military, especially if they've served.
To Marine Corps, because everybody can't be one.
Yeah. No, they're selective.
About 12 people, only one guy can end up.
Really?
Back then, yeah.
And so it's
And a lot of guys that had issues would be able to get in because the Marine Corps didn't really push away people that had behavioral problems.
no.
No. In the 80s? No.
So if they were so exclusive, how come a lot of people didn't make it then? What were they
The
looking
training is hard.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be physically fit.
You got to
as
be
the first.
able to do this.
Yeah.
And in my
mindset.
deterrent of authority and all of this.
That's why I'm so
And I
surprised
made
you
it.
joined.
And
I'm so
I
surprised
made
you joined
it.
because
Yeah.
you're anti-authority, and like, I could imagine military and forces is very regulated.
And, it's only later in life that I learned everything or put into application the good things that they taught me.
Gotcha.
But at that time, I still fought them too.
You just think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Why should I make
I
my
was
bed?
getting drug tests positive, this one positive, that one positive, and it was a lifestyle. Monday to Friday work, Friday gone, liberty.
Freedom.
Where's Alan? He's coming back, got Band-Aids on his ear because he pierced his ears. He can't be doing that shit in uniform. And they had people that,
Wow. Yeah.
sergeants or corporals that were like following rules that I didn't like. So it was always some type of rebellion going on, some type of challenge. And I always said back then, I still say it to this day, I wish I had went in a little earlier because it felt more brotherly love in that my specific situation, my unit. Because I was in California in Camp Del Mar.
That's in
Oceanside, California.
Oceanside, yeah.
Camp Pendleton.
I've lived in Escondido before.
The Escondido.
Escondido is just north of Oceanside.
The place where you can buy a house at that time for $120,000.
Not sure.
Yes.
But I got deported from there. Kicked out of the States.
$120,000 you can buy a house. Now you can't find one for
$120,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Now you can't find one for $400,000.
Probably the same as Brighton,
It's
mate.
called Escondido. Escondidad, to hide. It's the hidden city. Something like that.
It's right on the border.
Yeah.
Near
You couldn't recognize they're out there.
Wow. It's very, I can imagine. So your military career, and then when did your kind of issues start?
The issues never stopped. The issues just kept on multiplying. I didn't even know it.
Right, okay.
Because I was living that lifestyle of getting and finding ways and means to get more, whatever it was.
So you were...
because I say when I was in, I wasn't married.
Yeah.
But I wasn't living on base either.
Okay.
Because one of my fellow Marines was married. And his wife came. And they lived out in town. And she bought her sister. So I hooked up with her. So I was out in town all the time. I had a car. I was driving on base. And at that time, I was just getting and selling and
what?
Marijuana, just weed, just selling weed and stuff. So, that eventually bit me in the ass because at that time, the difference is during the 80s, it wasn't okay, but it wasn't like you get in trouble for something at the same time.
With
as far
weed,
as
we're
drugs,
okay.
There was more domestic violence, alcohol abuse.
So this was before the war on drugs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, because at that time, the base would get a lot of calls for people that lived on base, and the abuse and stuff like that was starting.
Yeah.
And ironically, at that time, corporate America started doing drug testing for their employees, and we started doing it in the military too. And I was random drug tests. And how come I'm getting random every 2 months? So I don't know if to this day if I was picked out, but the randomizer got me every time.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would have thought once you get caught that you kind of go up the scale
Yeah.
of less random checks.
Yeah, I would think so too. So it would do all kinds of crazy things. We're living in barracks, put towel under the door, smoking, blowing out the window. We had this trick with the pen and a penny. You could just smoke a little hit, just pack it.
What's the penny?
Like a small little Skillcraft pen.
Yeah.
It has a silver middle.
Okay.
And 2 black ends.
Yeah.
The silver middle is the bowl.
Okay.
You put a penny in there and tape it and boom, get a quick hit.
Oh, wow. Sneaker toe. Yeah.
Before they made them famous.
The single hitters,
Yeah. So things just got worse and worse. It got so bad that I ended up going to jail.
Wow.
And
bad in
my
what
fellow
way?
Bad as in getting caught.
Over and over again.
And then my officers didn't know how to deal with those situations. So I feel I didn't get the proper treatment to address the situation, because if I'm habitual, obviously I got a problem, but I'm in denial.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. So they believe me saying I don't have a problem instead of knowing how to treat me if I had a problem. So that went on. And then, after 3 years, March 23rd, 1983 is when I left or got kicked out.
Wow.
After 2 times in jail.
Is that in military jail?
Yeah. Jeez. 2 times. First time I went in, now I'm 30 days, take my rank. I was an E3.
So you lose a rank?
I lose a rank and lose money. And then I kept on popping again. And then I had some other charges like assault, verbal abuse with my superiors, because I was going to choke him out. And I verbally told him I was going to choke him out.
As you do.
He got scared.
Yeah.
So he wrote me up, and then I did my second bid. And after that, they came to visit me, and I gave them the finger. And then they gave me that bad discharge and threw me out.
So I'd say that's pretty fair non-compliance on your part.
Yeah.
I love your rebellion, though. They come to the door.
Hey, I don't know what else to do. I mean, you're messing up my high.
Yeah.
You're doing this to me, and I only know this way.
Yeah.
You're not teaching me another way. I only know this way. This is the only way I know. I don't know there's another way.
So there's a fundamental lack of understanding of the issue, isn't there?
There's total ignorance on my part.
No, not with you. I mean, of the hierarchy who's penalizing you for using drugs.
And not knowing how to deal with it.
Yeah. So it's fundamentally,
it was an issue.
Yeah.
It was an issue.
So what happened? So you left the military. There you are in California.
Buck wild.
Yeah. Give us a sample.
Buck wild. I end up started cooking.
Wow.
Because I'm a natural cooking. I'm a natural kitchen guy. Cooking food.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right.
I couldn't do that. I'm not a chemist. Even though I think I'm a chemist in the kitchen.
You just need
because I can create massive dishes that are really phenomenal. I had some really good teachers, some really good training. I have a natural knack for this, how to put things together in the kitchen and make your eyes pop and your stomach goes, and your mouth water. I'm really good at it. Yeah. I mean, without trying to brag about it too much.
That's good.
Because some people have raised the bar and wanted me to do that for them, with them, and raise and open restaurants and stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool, Caliston.
So, it was pretty good. My first job was working at Woolworth. You ever heard of that place?
Yeah, you started in England, mate.
Yeah. Woolworth and, what was that? I think that was in the Oceanside. I was cooking eggs in a pan on a flat grill, and a guy came and saw me. He said, "Man, I know where you could do that and make more money." Really? So I got a job in Carlsbad.
Yeah, Carlsbad, I know that.
Yes.
Well, where was that?
That Carlsbad job was amazing, man. The line was out the door.
Gee.
People were just killing it, waiting in line to get in that place. It was me and this tall dude, Ed, and he was a genius, family, intelligent guy. And we just kept on partying. By then, I'm smoking and drinking, and because that goes with the business.
Yeah.
That goes with the
What kind of a restaurant was it? We're talking like Denny's or?
It was a Greek guy owned it. We specialize in breakfast.
Okay, my favorite.
Across the street from the Twins, there's a place over there across the street where the 2 twin chickens was, and this place, this big, massive place where people have weddings and stuff. So right across the street, there was this place called Mariah's West Wing or Mariah's Restaurant.
Yeah.
It's a Greek guy. So we had Grolsch bottle,
The alcohol, yeah, beer, yeah.
5-gallon jugs for that both sides, 2 small little grills, a new way to make omelets, like every 35 seconds one rolls off in the plate because we were speed demons also.
Damn.
We were smoking up, drinking up, and partying.
While you're cooking.
Yeah,
Aye.
one day, you're almost so close, you're gonna hit your face, gonna hit the freaking grill instead of a pancake.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was pretty bad. But that guy taught me how to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing that with him taught me how to drink. So I did that for a while, and then I found a place where I can learn to do dinner, which ended up being a 24-hour spot where everybody shows up there. Highway Patrol,
Okay.
everybody shows up there. And then my man Lewis was a badass. Lewis taught me how to smoke, to smoking weed. He used to grow weed in Fallbrook. I ended up having some situations with him, trying to cross the border with my caddy full of bags of weed. And then once the guy goes like this, look down the side of the car and look down that side and just said, okay. And Lewis is just like, yeah, he looked like Elton John in the passenger seat. And we get past, and I said, man, he said, Lewis, what the hell, man? He said, well, what else do you expect would be in the trunk? It was like 6 or 7 trash bags, some 50-gallon bags full of fucking marijuana.
Jeez. Bringing it from
That's
Mexico.
9 years.
That's a long...
No, this is in California, crossing the Temecula border, going up north.
Right.
In California, there's a border check.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Because Fallbrook is the best place in the world to grow avocados.
Right, okay.
And he had a farm.
Yeah, so that was his cover. Huh. Interesting.
The best. So those situations, yeah, getting through stuff like that, and then coming back to the streets of Myers later on.
Myers in
Oceanside, down the
Oceanside,
street
yeah.
from Top Gun House.
Yeah.
In Oceanside.
Huh.
Yeah. Driving the drug dealer around that was slinging a lot of shit. Going to Rosarita and Ensenada. Stuff like that. Just driving and just partying. Even making it look like I know what I'm doing. Dressed nice, weight bench in the garage, driving a caddy, going to college with a briefcase, ain't got no books in it.
Yeah.
What's in the bag? Just rebellion, trying to learn music. Teacher hit me with this yardstick. I didn't go back to class. I was kind of just all kind of stupid. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just insane. Just remembering talking about it now, how that life was so normal. It got bad. It got really bad.
In what way?
My oldest son's mother.
Yeah.
I think he's 36.
Your oldest son's 36. Yeah.
We were always partying together.
Yeah.
And I couldn't live with her. She was a slob. I was a neat freak, and I was less particular about everything because I had this outside image that looked really fantastic, but inside I'm probably dying and just going crazy, just wanting to use more and just have my way with every person I can, make as much as I can, and do everything I can. But I had a lot of character and a dignity about me. I'm only saying this because this is what I was told by my peers. So after we got out the military, not the guys I went to school with, but the guys I was in the military with in Oceanside, there was like 5 of us. I'm the only one that didn't go to the penitentiary.
Wow.
I'm the only one that had the safe house. I'm the only one that had a legitimate job. I'm the only one that would invite all of them to come over and have a decent meal.
Why do you think that is?
I just had some quality about me or something.
Yeah, you are.
'Cause I was good in the kitchen.
Yeah, but there's more to it than
But
that.
I got pulled over. I got guns in my face, being in spots where you're not supposed to be, going to get something for somebody. But, when I say it like that, it sounds like I was just dealing for people, but I had a problem.
So
I was feeding me.
Yeah.
You know, I was letting you know, hey, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah.
I was honest even when I was bad.
Mm.
I was telling you, look, man, I'm going to get this for you, but look, this is what I'm taking.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not? You know.
Oh, that's good. An honest,
You know, yeah.
an honest cut.
An honest teeth.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So your habit got quite intense.
Yeah, it got more and more.
Mm.
And so that's like in the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. And sometimes I would dream that I want to have the New Year's start clean.
Clean. I can imagine.
So that went on for about 5 years.
That old chestnut.
As I can remember.
Yeah.
So like the 90s, you know. And then the womanizing and everything, the just running, crossing the border from Arizona to Cali. Yeah.
Because in the States, it's a big crime crossing states borders with drugs on you, right? It's a bigger crime.
And they have checks.
Yeah.
They have checks.
And some roads are known for it.
Because of the immigration thing. Because once you're into the United States, there's still ways you can maneuver and get out of that area to get to a better place where you'll be more welcome and accepted, or hideaways, you know. Once you get past Temecula border, Riverside County.
Yeah, Riverside, San Bernardino.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You know, you can go up to the onion fields, you know.
Get on the 91.
Get on the farms and just do your thing, you know. So that thing is still there, you know, the border checks and all that stuff.
So how did you come into recovery then? Because we're 29 years down the path of you being
10,000.
How many days?
575 days.
You're counting the days still after 29 years.
29 years on December 23rd.
Next year.
This year.
Wow.
2 weeks.
Flipping heck.
I'm at 28.
So something drastic must have happened to make you make that oath to yourself and make that life change.
I got tricked.
Go on.
I got tricked in Oceanside, California.
Yeah.
It was one of those, we're having a bonfire on the beach. You want to go?
Flirty fishing.
Well, yes,
a nice girl.
Well, yes, Patricia. I want to go on the beach with you and have a bonfire. Oh, I'm bringing my friend, what's her name? Forget her name, but
Debbie.
She was bringing her friend and we're going to the beach. And then they're circling up bonfire and they start reading this stuff. So then it was like, wow, okay, cool. But we still partied and weeks go by. And so kind of like at the beginning, initial mind, the thing was set. But you know, when you're drinking and drugging and I'm doing everything because I'm a smoker, I'm doing everything. Anything that I can get to smoke.
Any drug
that I can smoke, I'm smoking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I mentioned before, if I could smoke alcohol, I probably would. I could be rich. You know, because that would have been a good alternative because it's legal.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, doing that got me to a place of like, well, maybe, can't be real. I'm not gonna stop making fun of those people that have that minivan with 2 car seats and two people in the front, a man and a woman, and a committed relationship and PTA meeting, and is laughing at these people. I don't want to stop laughing at people like that. You know, that's absurd. It's easier to just stay in the garage because I can't afford to rent in the condo no more. That was bad.
That happened.
Yes. So I'm in the garage. Think I'm all that.
Yeah.
Ripped and sucked up. Think I'm somebody. She's living over there. And I'm copping and getting for her. And we go over there and we party and we do everything together. And we get into fights and I'm running scared. I'm running scared, not because of... You know, what actually got me to say to detox, McAllister Center in Oceanside, California. They said, you can have a bed. But it's going to take 2 weeks.
Okay. And that was what, you had fallen so low that's what was appealing, right?
Yeah.
A warm bed for the night, somewhere safe.
It's just to stop because other men that I knew and hung out with playing basketball, you know, and working on logos and doing business together. they just like that. No, I'm done. No. Then they'll have a drink or two with their friends, and they don't even want to smoke crystal no more, or they don't want to smoke coke no more, or they want to smoke heroin no more. They just like that stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't that guy that can just like that.
Yeah.
So I something inside knew that I knew inside some
you were
way
special and
that
different.
I needed to find help, but I didn't know how. But when that fear hit me,
that
that
you realized?
one particular day, I'm coming back from her house, coming back to my garage, and I feel somebody following me.
Shit.
And it's dark, and it's daytime. And I look and see who's following me. And it's me.
Wow.
It's me. I'm terrified of my own self because of what I can do. Because I had one good solid friend all this time. And he finally started growing inside of me. Anger. Anger evolved. I skipped a lot of that in that relationship because I wasn't a good person. I wasn't a good human being. I wasn't a good man. I wasn't a good father. I skipped all of that, and I just wanted, no, you stay over there, I stay over here.
You didn't want to be involved in that.
Didn't want to be involved with you because I'm getting physical. I'm angry, and don't even know what I'm angry about or at. Because I'm on this shit and I'm coming down, I'm going up.
Yeah, your chemicals are all over the place.
I'm all over the grid by now. From city to city, Escondido, Vista, San Marcos, La Jolla, hitting the border.
Balling out of control.
Yeah. And when I started, and it's daytime and I'm rolling, it's cool. But once the sun drops, I'm not going anywhere. So where I end up at. And God knows what I'm going to run into. Places get raided. People get jacked, guns go off, police
Dangerous
come, running down the stairs and run right into the freaking 9. And the guy's wearing a uniform. And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm just here to pick up something. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course, I get detained, get searched. I don't have nothing. Like the time when I go to my man's house to have lunch. I got my knives in the back seat. Because I'm chefing, got a legitimate job. They kick the door down and find that there's the only thing in that refrigerator is money in the freezer. The freezer is full of money.
Wow. In your house?
And a dog.
Yeah. But no products.
And my man is gone. They knocked the door down, and I'm coming out of the house, and I'm showing up at that point.
Oh, bad timing, man.
And my knives and everything. I look like a criminal.
Yeah.
So they jacked me for that, detained me, and I didn't have anything on me that would feed them because they were investigating all those guys anyway.
Jeez.
So
things were getting quite hectic.
Things were getting pretty.
Things were heating up.
I was more terrified of what's happening internally, not necessarily what was happening on the street. Because, I had a lot of good connections. I felt like I had good backup.
How were you feeling, though? Were you feeling morally bankrupt? Was it like a sinking feeling? Or, as far as when you were getting scared of your shadow and your situations, and were you starting to feel like things are getting a bit out of your depth a little bit, maybe?
It was a new territory. It was a new level because it got to the point where needles started to look good. And I had never done needles. That's
not recreational shit, is it?
And I've been with those guys for a while doing that, seeing them do it. And like an example was when I was in the SUC, that's what they call the military, that I was on the second floor. And 2 days later, they told me that I was going to jump.
Wow.
I had no idea.
You don't remember it?
No. And that's the same time that they told me I went into town in Oceanside and I came back and I had no idea.
Flip.
And that was when I was putting shit on my tongue or doing some other thing that was taking me to the top. So I learned.
Yeah.
I learned.
Did that frighten you?
What I liked. Yeah. That frightened me.
That frightened the
And
hell
all
out
those
of me.
combinations of things
Yeah.
built up. And then when I got out the military, then that type of fear, that type of boogeyman or type of thing was on me. That black cloak was on me. You know, so those types of things had me. Okay, maybe I need to go. So like the third time they offered that bed, I took it.
And what was it, like a rehab?
It was a rehab. It was
a military one? Or?
No, it was in Oceanside. It was like in 1995, December 22nd. I don't remember that day. I don't remember a lot of days anyway. But the specifics of that day, I can't tell you what I did. I just know I didn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Because that's when I went into that place. And on the 23rd of December, when I woke up in that place, I said, what the fuck did I do? But I didn't have the balls to leave. I volunteered. I could leave if I wanted to. So something was happening. Something drastic changed, or because I probably was just trying to get well to go back and do it again. That's probably what it was, you know, because I never had a situation like that where I had a community, a system that would be supporting me to know that I can identify, yes, I do have a problem.
And loved you living. You could love yourself,
you know what
right?
I mean?
Yeah.
None of that. Then what's that word? What's that word? Love?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's when...
Shit. No, don't know nothing about that.
So you didn't find them welcoming when you first went?
No, just me.
Yeah.
Just me. Anger, hate, resentment. That's all me. None of that sweet stuff. No.
But you must have found the group welcoming, right? Otherwise you wouldn't have stayed.
I didn't find anything because I was like judging them all. People were withdrawing. And it was supposed to be for 10, 15 days.
Gotcha.
But here's the miracle. It was time to go. I did my 15. I detoxed. I didn't do anything in my body in that place.
Okay, so you
took chores and meetings and in-house, and you know, it served that purpose. It really did. It got me clean.
But I would have thought the danger is when you leave there and you're left in your own thinking, that it would become, that would be the point where people fall, right? That
is the point right there. That's the part where, to this day, this table is wood.
Yeah.
I just had to been some creator, some essence of life or love or something happened there. Because after 2 weeks, they said I had to go.
Okay.
I cried like a 2-year-old. They gave me 5 more days. And that time, I had to find a place to go to that was safe.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I could think about was pocket full of money, gas in my car, and being on the run again.
Wilding.
And being in the garage. So that was off the table. I didn't have the garage no more because he straightened up and went another direction. My good, my brother. And I knew a lot of people. Cardiff by the Sea, another city down the coast. I knew this lady that always got for me, and I went and stayed with her for 2 weeks.
Did you feel like you were in a precarious situation?
I wanted to stop at that point.
You had the desire to stop was stronger than the desire to use.
Yes.
You only have to have 51% more desire.
I think I had 49.
Wow.
Because I was rolling joints for her.
Ooh, you're playing with fire, right?
I was dynamite.
And you still had
I didn't smoke. What my favorite thing to do in life is.
Wow.
I even wrote a letter and talked to my uncle Rasta in Barbados about being Rasta and being down with the faith and trying to be, unified as a people.
Yeah.
Is this sacrament necessary for me to continue believing in what I believe in as you believe?
Yeah.
And he showed me scripture or told me, you don't have to smoke weed.
Wow.
And you can still be Rasta without smoking weed.
Wow.
That was
that
was a relief.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand how other people in other religions would take sacrament and drink wine. So I was hoping that I could still do that. But I remembered some of that stuff from the beach meetings and the rehabs. one is too many, 1,000's enough, and this and that. And if you put one in, that one's taking another one, and then I'm not me no more. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. So I don't know.
That's powerful. It's a
I
powerful
waited 2
story.
weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks because I could not get into Vista, which is just miles away, kilometers away, man, far in comparison, to go to this place, a transitional housing for men. And they only took you every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you had to have 3 things: homeless, which I was, unemployed, and clean.
So you qualified.
I qualified, but I had to wait 2 weeks.
Fair play.
And I couldn't do that from detox. So she was kind enough to put me up.
Nice.
And
even though she knew you were trying to kick the habit, she was having you roll her joints for her.
no, she wasn't having me. I was.
Yeah.
It
You
was
offered.
just because I knew how to roll. She didn't know how to
course.
roll.
Make yourself
She
useful.
just smoked bongs and this and that.
Wow.
It was one of my main squeezes
Yeah.
at that time.
Fair play.
And she had the most beautiful daughter. I made her a Pocahontas outfit for her Halloween one year.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, that year it was beautiful. Yeah, because I'm capable.
Yeah. You're
cook
quite a creative
so
guy.
I can do my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very creative. But that creative mind, end up in the street like Edgar Allan Poe, man.
Yeah.
After being so phenomenally creative and lose your mind.
Yeah. I can
So
imagine.
So getting into that place was a riot, was a trip. Because I waiting that 2 weeks, and then it's intake, and there's a group that goes in. A group goes from phase 1 to phase 2, and from phase 2 to phase 3. And then phase 3 steps out and graduate with a plaque. I got that motherfucking plaque.
Wow.
In 1997.
Jeez.
I got that plaque. So that journey from that time in 96, because now it's 96, the beginning of the year, going into that place, can't leave. I can still leave anytime I want to, but I can't leave. There's 100 of us.
Everyone wants that place, right?
Everybody wants that place.
So you know it was. So you were starting to see the value in things.
The place was more. It brought you back to life.
So it was.
It did a lot for
healing.
the community. We sold newspapers on the corner at the stoplights to support the program. We get a little stipend from that.
Sounds like quite an organic recovery house where you see these ones advertised now in America, and it's all about money.
Well,
have you got Medicare? We'll look after you.
That
And
thing was a whole nother.
Yeah.
That was. I think that when the judges started to say, go to these 12-step meetings and don't do jail because it's a misdemeanor. Go to these 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
And then I don't know the codes exactly, I don't remember, but there's a code that you can just do a nonprofit and have a recovery home.
Yeah.
And get funding from the government.
Yeah.
And have a recovery house.
Pay no taxes and
right.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people getting a
blew
lot
up.
of shit. Yeah,
Those blew up in
Hundreds of them.
California. So when that happened, a lot of places were able to receive convicted felons, people that 2-time losers or whatever. So I was in a place with a lot of guys that were pending. And I was clean.
Wow.
I was clean in more ways than one. But I had that friend with me still. Anger. And this guy said one thing to me at the kitchen one day, and I took the knife to him. I want to cut him. And they took me out of there and sent me somewhere far in San Diego so I can
So you
get
lost your
some
spot?
help. No, I lost my spot. And I had to get well to get back. And I got back after, being in that place and seeing the psych and adamant about not taking anything to mood stabilize me or whatever. Because I just know that the good person was growing.
Yeah.
But the bad person was very much still alive.
And rattling the cage, probably.
And he was just shaking.
Hey, you're not giving me any attention.
Yeah, that gorilla still wanted to have sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Not again. okay, yeah. But I didn't give in,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm.
And so that journey, man,
Yeah.
I can't believe it to this day.
It's amazing.
That journey from being in that place
Mm.
in 96, 12 of us stepped in. They call it stepping in, stepping up,
Mm.
stepping up, stepping out. And the guys that stepped out had bank account,
Mm.
job, clean.
So they turned their lives around successfully.
Yeah. A lot of the guys that I went in with at that time when I was still in California, before I left California, moved to Arizona, I'm the only one out of the 12
Gosh. That's still,
that didn't stutter,
yeah.
didn't stumble, didn't
Or
relapse.
dip in and out. So you got it and stuck with it.
I
Wow.
don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how you've done that. That's
I
amazing.
don't know.
That's not the story we normally hear.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I count days.
So what would you say, I won't say the secret is, but what would you say has been your biggest encouragement to follow the path? I mean, is it meetings? Is it fellowship? Fear of,
Going back
okay.
or dying.
Hmm.
Because I have enough examples.
Yeah.
When I started working, after I got out of that place, I worked at the auto auction for 5 years. That's where I met my mentor, Chuck D. Going into that place, you know, the Vista Transitional Housing. That's how I got a sponsor, because you had to show you had a sponsor. You couldn't, you know, they went by the rules.
So you had to be in the program of some
I
sort.
had to show them I have a sponsor, because they're working these 1, 2, 3 things, but you have to show that you're actually working a program.
Yeah.
And they're taking you to meetings, and wouldn't take you to meetings with women, and they're taking you in the paddy wagon, and you can't go there. And so they took me to men's meetings, and I hated it. Because, you know, at one point, I'm like, yeah, man, let's go to a meeting. Let's go to this thing. No, we didn't have choice.
Okay.
We didn't have choice. And I hated those meetings, those men's meetings. Roll up in one meeting, and it's like the Robbers' Roost. Those are the guys that were packing boots and Harleys, gangsters, guys that are really hardcore guys that were down with agencies, that were in trouble worse than I could ever dream of.
Yeah.
You know, those types of guys were in those meetings, and those are the guys that would tell you, shut up, sit down. Shut up, sit down. We only want to hear you if we ask you.
Really?
It was like that.
That's not really
That's
the spirit.
really good.
You think it's good?
Oh, it's freaking fantastic. The old way was the best way.
Wow.
That's what I needed.
So you needed that authority.
But when I got out, what meetings did I go to?
Mixed and...
Men's meetings.
Oh, really? Okay.
What happened? I don't know. I went to men's meetings when I got out. Men's meetings.
There's less distractions as well, though, especially if you're, you know.
Under every skirt, there's a slip. I don't know the male version of that.
Yeah. That's
you know, but that saved me. And then the guidance and the teaching. And of course, I'm going to have some bad days, and this happened. So when I met my sponsor, I said, I need a temporary sponsor, man. So I met this dude, man, handsome. I was watching him for a minute. He had 5 years. He just celebrated 33 or 4.
Jeez. Wow.
Because he's got 5 more than me.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I want you to do something. When you need me, I'm not going to be available. So I would like you to get 5 phone numbers besides mine and start building you a support group of men, because I know you can charm the women. And the woman is not going to keep you clean. You need to get 5 men's numbers. And we talked about that 2 weeks ago when he didn't have time to talk to me.
Yeah.
And he was doing something like what you did when you were saying, well, man, I don't know if I offended you or something. And I was like, wait a minute. Remember back when you told me to build a network and get a support group? So I called somebody else.
Ah,
That's the reason for that.
that's why you call me.
That's why I call other people.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Gotcha.
not because, okay, you and me going to do 4 and 5 and I'm going to get on my knees with you and we're going to sing Kumbaya. You're going to know every single thing about me to the best of my ability. You're going to see everything about me. And you also see how I live and how I turned into a respectful human being with the children and the wives and the mothers and stuff like that. So, but everybody doesn't have to be that way with me because I'm still guarded. I still don't want you to know who I am because I don't trust you still, you know, and no, I am not a joker. I can be funny. I am a crosshair type of person.
You're quite a serious guy. If you
I'm a
don't mind me
crosshair
saying.
guy.
You're quite a serious chap.
I'm a guy that, you know, that's me. That's
Yeah.
my demeanor until you get to know me.
Yeah.
But I don't want people to get to know me, take advantage of me, because then that guy is going to come back again. That anger dude.
So I got it. So by protecting yourself and not getting too close to people, they don't have opportunity to piss you off, and then the real you come out.
Right. And in the beginning, I
It's
was
quite deep.
worried about hurting them.
Yeah.
As I worked the steps, and I got to 6 and 7, which means a lot to me back then. 6 and 7 is 13. There's only 12 steps.
Wow.
I don't 13 step people in the rooms.
No.
That means taking hostages. As I matured and got better, 6 and 7, the humility and the humbling and the willingness had to come from somewhere. And I found it in those 2 steps. And with the help of this man and the man before him, I was able to not lie to myself. Or when I see the lies in myself, I was able to tell him my lies. And if I didn't tell him my lies, and it reminded me of a saying my father would say to me, "You sure you're telling lies?" And either answer is going to get my ass whipped.
Shit.
So telling the lies that I told myself,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem, I can manage this, she's mine, that bag or that car or whatever the situation in life. And all of this comes up to one thing. I don't have a drug problem.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific drug problem.
I got a problem.
I have a problem of living
Yeah.
without medicated. So that you know, when you take the air out of a balloon and it goes flat,
Yeah.
there's a big old nasty hole there after they stopped and told me don't do that physically. So detox really did help. I needed it to be able to find, okay, physically done. Because I always dreamed about it, like I said, you know. I think 3-4 years, good 3-4 years went by and I wanted to stop at the beginning of the year and start the year clean. And it never worked out. And it still didn't work out until 96.
And then you did it.
96 started it because 95 I got clean. And
So 96 was your first full complete year.
first complete year.
Wow.
And because all those things that were there, New Year's is my thing. I still want to go partying to this day and find a party in New Year's to go clubbing. I done it in Malta, clean.
Yeah.
But I still want to do that. I still have that in my head. And then February come, there was something to celebrate. Then March, and then April come, my birthday, and then I want to party. Then it's summer, you know, and I just kept on going, and it didn't something.
There's always something.
Always something.
There's always a
But
reason not to.
the turning point, getting it through Casa Rafael, that's the place in Vista,
Okay.
saved me. To prove that I had commitment and consistency.
To prove to yourself as well.
Yes, commitment and consistency is the only is really evident in the area of not picking up and using one day at a time. I would love to have those 2 things in all my affairs. I would love to have those 2 things in my whole life for every element or every situation that still pisses me off sometimes or any discomfort that I have. Because it's proven that if I'm committed to something and I stay consistent, I could do it.
Mm.
Because I'm a creative mind. I don't want to stay fixing something nice.
Yeah.
I got so much unfinished work.
Yeah.
I got so much designs or stuff like that. I got so many recipes. I got so many projects, or the mind is just turning and turning, and smoke coming out my ears. But what am I doing? My ex said one time, because I even went to acting school. I went to this, I went to that.
Wow.
And she said, "You're not going to finish that, are you?" Because she knows. Because I get bored, or something happens where I want something else to feed me, to satisfy me.
Yeah.
And it's not, that's when I started learning it was not that bag.
Yeah.
It was not the bag after all of that. And all this time I thought it was, I had a drug problem.
So it's changed. It gave you the perspective and the understanding of the problem.
It's a behavior problem.
But having just control over those two things, not drinking, not using, that allows all the other stuff an opportunity to happen, right? So by mastering, you may not be able to apply it to your whole life,
right?
Every aspect, but the two most important ones.
Yes. If I don't pick up between now and midnight, I'm a champion.
Yeah, there's potential.
I got the chance that when 12:01 come, I better be asleep. Because if I'm not asleep, I'm going to be doing something, because my mind is going to be telling me to do something. And it might not be something good. And I'm going to think of something bad to do. And I still to this day don't like to go to sleep. Because I want to do something. I want to hit the streets. I want to do something.
Popping.
Yeah. But the action behind that thoughts cannot be part of my everyday living.
That's why I like that you said that earlier on today. And you said it's okay, you get the thoughts,
Chuck D
but you don't
mentions
act on
that.
it. Yeah, I like
it's
that.
okay to think. Because he's said some things to me in conversation, and I look at him like, really? He said, yeah, it's okay, you can think that. I can think that. But I better not fucking act on it. Don't act on everything I think. Don't believe everything I think. That's the phrase that goes with that for me.
Yeah, I like that.
And 6 and 7 is a vital part. I don't do it enough. I haven't sponsored men in a long time, but I have a lot of groups, and I am involved with a lot of men's lives. So I'm not actually taking them through the steps how I went through the steps, but I'm there. But they're helping me more than they could ever imagine. Not because they're not staying clean, but because they reminded me the seriousness of the disease of addiction. They reminded me of the seriousness of how fallible we are, and how I would say, I'm going to pick up my son to go fishing tomorrow at 3:00, and I don't show.
Yeah.
And it becomes a habit, and the child get used to that. And he
thinks,
suffers.
my dad's unreliable, and loses respect for you. That's heartbreaking, isn't it, that thought?
Did that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad him and I reconciled that. He's 30-something years old, and he understands.
Has he forgiven you?
He says he has. I mean, we talk.
Have you forgiven yourself?
Oh, yeah. In that area, I have. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I know that was not me. I know that wasn't me. Now, I have to ask the universe a lot of times to maintain that. Because those thoughts will come back that I'm not good enough, I'm worthless, I'm unemployed,
thinking.
With all these different things that come back because that is my disease. Thinking that still wants to live. And another guy shared it in a speaker meeting, one of my favorite guys. He talked about how the Michelangelo, the statue, he took away everything that wasn't. And I understand now some of the prayers that is talking about dying to live. It doesn't mean go and see the Holy Ghost and dying. It's talking about the spirit of who you were needs to die. Who I was needs to die. And he's really suppressed. He's minimized. He is not part of my everyday living and breathing.
But he's still
there.
Yeah.
And he will stay with me until I don't talk no more. And that is an acceptability. I've have what has happened to me with my time living in Germany, in and out, when I was working overseas in Afghanistan, I started meeting there too.
Oh wow.
Because I needed a meeting.
Yeah.
Was having learned the respect for alcohol specifically, since it's so commercialized.
Prevalent everywhere.
At one time in my recovery, I could not walk down the alcohol aisle. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would walk and turn and go around.
Yeah.
Go around.
It's
And I could not go down that aisle. I'm able to be in a house where she drinks. That's not even the way to say it. How do you say it?
she's normal.
She's an alcohol abuser.
She's probably gonna watch this and kick your ass, man.
A sip of this.
Yeah.
No, I don't need no.
Yeah.
You know.
And
And it's there if I want to cook.
Yeah.
You know,
But you
I
don't-
don't need it because the smell, the taste, like certain foods, I have allergies to it. Bell peppers, pork, alcohol give me the same feeling, the same mind state.
Wow.
I feel like I'm going to throw
Yeah.
and I'm going to just be miserable for the rest of my life at that moment with those things in my body. And just the smell of it just makes me turn.
Wow.
And then the other thing that really pisses people off sometimes if I open my mouth being arrogant is cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
What about vapes?
Well, it has a flavor to it.
Yeah.
And so I don't mind that. Because
Okay.
even I tried it
Yeah.
because I'm a smoker. But I can,
Oh shit! I
I can
forgot you.
smoke a cigar.
I've been vaping around you.
No.
I totally forgot.
There's no worries. No. Smoking cigarettes
Right. Okay.
nauseate me. And I used to smoke cigarettes too.
But your body's 29 years of being a temple now, right? So even the secondhand smoke is
See, and
probably...
that's the illusion. The body was always a temple from birth. I just didn't know it.
But what I mean is you haven't
Yes,
been poisoning.
yes. The body was poisoned, but it was still a temple poisoned.
Yeah.
Because our bodies are temples. I don't believe, I'm sitting here, and when I'm driving, I'm sitting in a car, and I'm driving. It's things like that just rocks my world sometimes.
What part about it?
I'm actually driving a car that's mine,
The fact that
and it's
you're...
legal,
Oh, I see.
and
How far you've come.
I'm very safe,
Hmm.
and I'm respectable
And sober.
inside my car. And then I see things that make me want to pull over and cry because I'm happy or whatever comes over me.
Yeah.
Like when that school bus pulls up, just even the mentioning of it and
Yeah.
seeing the little people,
Don't
seeing the little
apologize.
people.
Yeah.
And
That's wonderful. That
I like, what happened?
you've got emotion again.
So you imagine
Yeah, I like
if I
that.
didn't have the men in my life and the guidance from one guy alone to pull me and say, you're always this person, you're always this, you don't have this problem, you had a living problem, and talk to me and let me remind. Because when I get that way, I have those moments of clarity. I have those awakenings constantly. The awakenings come. They come. And they keep coming. Like when I got on the plane, it was like, when I sat on the plane, I haven't sat on a plane since April. I need that shit. Because I like when I get up there, I'm powerless. I am in no control of anything. They tell me when to sit down, buckle your belt, you can go to the toilet. Here's some food. I'm powerless. You can keep me in an airplane for 24 hours. I love it. I'm powerless, and I accept that. And I would like to have all these things like that because of how you mentioned. If I don't pick up and I don't use, it gets better in all the other areas. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty deep stuff. Would you say you were a religious person before you got into the program, or are you spiritual?
I was a spiritual being from the beginning, trying to find a human experience.
Oh, I like
That's
that.
what it is.
That's a good quote.
Because it's true. You know, it's very true to be at that level, to be evolving, but because of the materialisticness, the societal, and now in modern times with the internet, losing my path. I can't speak for the world. Losing my path, that all those outside things are important. And that's why it still blows my mind that the things that are not monetary are amazing.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. You know, I have a really good time in recovery, even when I'm in my worst days, because I remember where I got locked up in the Marine Corps 2 times. I was able to take meetings of Narcotics Anonymous in there and do an H&I. Now, who would have heard? Who would have think that?
Yeah.
The door slammed behind me, and I still jumped. But I realized I can leave. But I was locked up in that place. When I'm in a place like Afghanistan and there was a meeting and I wanted a different meeting, when I got transferred to another location, I found a place in the back of a church and got to talk with some soldiers informally about how not to drink.
So kind of spreading the word, spreading the message.
Where I was in Poland, on that base, I had made efforts. It didn't come to fruition, but I made myself available. Since I did that, when I go somewhere and it's not an English-speaking place, people take care of me. They show me, they guide me, they translate.
Yeah.
Anything to do. My 2 favorite societies is the uniform and the 12 steps.
Like that.
If you're in a military uniform, I'm going to stop and I'm going to just tell you thank you or something. I'm going to just acknowledge you as a human being for service. And if you're anything to do with any type of 12 steps, it's something that I am a part of, that is a part of me. And it's not going to just, like, I hate to use that phrase that people use because that ties into religion about being born again.
But it seems like you've had an awakening.
I
or a
have
rebirth.
an awakening. It seems like I have an awakening every day.
I love that.
Not just physically waking up.
So if someone was watching this, right, and they were really struggling, and they were back where you were back in, 29 years ago, 2 weeks, what would you say to them? What would you what would you offer them if they came to you and said, Caliston, I need help? What do I do?
Ask for help if you need it. If you don't ask, we don't know. I don't know. Because I know that for myself. When I didn't ask, even to today or last week, I don't ask, I'm miserable. And that gives the gorilla a chance to grow.
Who do they ask?
They can ask anybody.
But you speak to a doctor, they'd want to put you on medication or something.
You can speak to somebody, anybody. And because of this www now, you can ask anybody, anytime, anywhere in the world. You can just type it in and ask a question, and you'll get an answer.
And probably most people know somebody who's had experience with
because
recovery or some sort.
If somebody was to ask me,
because you got 29 years, I'd call you an authority.
What to do?
Yeah.
Admit you're powerless over your drug addiction.
Is that the key, do you reckon?
Yes.
I
had to admit it.
And that must be hard to do.
You can't admit that.
If you've been in denial for years.
Denial?
How can you?
It's not a river in Egypt.
No.
Denial. No, man, it's not. Because if my spirituality changes, it changes in a direction to remind me I have no option but to be spiritual. It doesn't go back now because of the days of not being abused by the other thing that I thought was my spirituality. Because it fed me. It gave me what I needed. It made me feel like a person. It made me feel like I'm on top of the world. It made me feel Like I'm worth something.
Like someone.
Yeah.
Till it didn't.
Till it didn't. So just finding, get to a meeting, ask for help, get to a meeting and just be yourself. That's the other important thing, I think. If a person is coming in and they don't know anything and they hear stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in the rooms that are still not acceptable to some people that are coming in, that weren't acceptable to me when they start talking about God, or they went in saying, do this meeting and every day you got to go to a meeting. There's a lot of stuff in those meetings that is not in any literature. 90 meetings in 90 days is not in any literature. But it's a practice, like getting 5 phone numbers beside mine to call somebody when you feel bad. That way, when you make one phone call, you don't just give up.
Yeah.
You keep calling. And you keep calling. And something inside you is going to make you call somebody you haven't called before, just to see how they're doing. To get somebody to be able to know that the person that they're worried about, know that the person that they're afraid of is the person inside of them. Because that's what it was for me. Everything that I thought was wrong with you.
Yeah. It's like reflecting off yourself, isn't it? Yeah.
You point the finger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pointing at someone else is pointing back at you.
You know.
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
And those types of things and all those analogies and all those phrases that we use in the 12-step meetings, you know, because I don't speak for any specific fellowship, and I should have had a disclaimer before I start running my freaking mouth. But I am a member of any 12-step group because I say so, and I can't say somebody else needs to be or have to be.
And that's the only requirement,
right?
To be a member, is that right?
To be a member, you have to say you are.
Yeah.
Because other people have gotten sober and clean and drug-free without 12 steps.
It's not the only way.
It's not the only way. But for me, it was. My brother that was with me, running the streets with me, doing everything together, he didn't go to no 12 steps. He owns a business. He runs a business, a corporation, without a college education, from being in the street with me.
Yeah.
And slinging and
That's
crossing
beautiful.
borders. So it's not for every unique person. That's what's so amazing about the uniqueness and the qualities of adults or of humans. We're so alike. But that one little chromosome or something, we're so unique. But we are uniquely alike.
Yeah.
And we're bonded together. We're in love with one another in the spirit of togetherness, or to be in fellowship about something and agree on something. And being able, for me, I have to be able to admit to myself that, you know what? I have a problem with me.
Yeah.
I have a problem with me.
Would you say you're still a work in progress now?
I'm never going to stop
after
being
29 years.
No,
have you nailed it?
I feel like,
and you recovered?
Sometimes I think I want to say I'm not my problem and I am recovered.
Yeah.
And sometimes I cannot say that. And a counselor said to me one time, do you think you're going to stop being your problem? And I said, no, because I'm still talking. Because my brain is still attached to me. If I didn't have this brain, I'd be okay. But that means I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. You know, it's there. It's going to stay with me. Except in that, like, I have the fond respect for alcohol. I have a really big respect for alcohol. Physically, literally. What it can do to you. I have a fond respect for the things that I used to put in my body because I know what they can do to me. And sometimes the other part about wanting to know when to stop or when you're done, your journey is individual to you. My journey is individual to me. We can walk together, but we have different journeys. Mine don't want me to go back today. Other people don't have that option. You know, if I do things this way, and some of the readings and the writings and the fellowships are God's will. Well, how do you know what that is when you don't even know what God is? well, if I do something today that I don't feel miserable later, and I can go to sleep without thinking I hurt somebody, and if I did something yesterday that I did well or that I'm not miserable about today, that was not my will. So that's the universe, if I don't want to say it's God's.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the person's interpretation of God is, you're saying. It could be the universe, it could be nature, it could be the sea. It's just realizing that
the sea is a good one.
Yeah. I like the sea.
I love the sea.
The sea makes me feel...
And I can't swim.
Hey.
I was born on an island.
Yeah, of course. But
I freak out when I get in the water.
Wow.
And my foot don't touch the sand. So if I go out too far, and this happened to me twice.
I know another Barbadian that doesn't swim. Big Joe. That's you, Joe.
I was living on the Oceanside, from here to the front is where the water was, where I used to live. I like to boogie board because I couldn't surf. I can't swim.
Yeah.
So I get out there on that board, but I go out far enough. And one time I went out a little bit too far, and I lost the footing underneath me. And I swore I was going to be done.
Wow.
And I did it again. And
Just
I
like
never do that shit again. Because it's terrified me that I was in free fall. I didn't know where I was, and I didn't have but I had the board.
Yeah.
So it helped me float to get back. And I'm
up.
coming back in like a torpedo, man.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
But the salt water, that's what we have. The same...
Salt water. That's what we're composed of.
We're water.
So, Caliston, you came in here to Brighton especially to be on the show. First guest that's done that. Flown in. And what do you think of our town?
Oh, I love this place. It's nice. I like the weather. I'm used to European weather like this. I always remember London. It was always a foggy place.
Yeah.
London fog, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And also being in Poland for the last 5 years, I'm used to the different climate like this in this time of year. I like the different atmosphere. I like the different energies. Culturally, it looks amazing.
It's a fantastic
It reminded me of New York.
Yeah, that surprised me when you said that.
Yes, it reminds me of the melting pot. It reminds me of Kaiserslautern.
Yeah, K-Town and Ludwigshafen.
K-Town.
How do you know
K-Town?
K-Town.
Beautiful cigar shop there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was working.
Were you?
I had to go there on a mission a couple of times. Actually, 2 years in a row I was there. Last year? Last year, October I went. No, September I went there. And the year before that I went there for work.
I used to do a nightclub there called the Milk Club. Club Milk.
Club Milk.
Yeah, in Mannheim, which is over the bridge. Yeah, over the bridge from there in K-Town. How cool is that? Well, Caliston, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been fantastic. I could chat to you all night. But
maybe there'll be a part 2.
If you come back, mate,
there'll be a part 2.
I think you should share some of your wisdom. Once you hit 30 years, you got to hit 30 years if you want to come back for a part 2 on the show.
Oh man, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's a whole
I got
year and 2 weeks, mate.
Well, how many days is that?
Yeah. Let me come over there and give you a hug.
How many days is that? That's the only way that's going to work for me. I'm going to have to go do the math because I made a deal one time.
Yeah.
I told my sponsor, I got to get 10,000 days.
Wow. Okay.
Because I wanted to be in double digits. Because everybody around me was in 10.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So I got 10.
Good for you, buddy. We're going to get a few shots. Thank you. Man, you're in good shape still.